circle. To draw a circle, we need a particular point. Particular point as a reference. From that only, by using our compass, we can place the needle of your compass somewhere here, and by rotational motion we can complete the circle. So this is the method to draw a circle. The point, the reference point which we use to draw the circle, that is called as midpoint. That's called as midpoint of a circle. Midpoint or center. We are using both terms, midpoint or center of a circle. And the next parameter would be from the midpoint when you draw a straight line. From the midpoint when you draw a straight line towards the circle, it would be denoted as radii. This is named as radii. These are some important parameters, radii, or else we can use radius. Both are same. From the midpoint when you draw a straight line towards the circles, that would be radii or radius. The next thing, from the circle, okay, from the circle through midpoint when you draw a straight line. I will draw from here. From the circle through midpoint when you draw a straight line, it should connect the next opposite end of the circle. Starting from here, through midpoint. Definitely that is really important word. Through midpoint, that is going, and thereafter it will be connected to the opposite end of the circle. So this line is called as diameter of a circle. Diameter of a circle. First one, the point which we used as a reference to draw the circle is defined as midpoint or center. Thereafter, from the center, when you draw a straight line to the circle, that would be defined as radii or radius. Thereafter, from the circle through midpoint to the opposite side of the circle when you draw a straight line, that is defined as diameter. These are the very basic three components of a circle. Not only this radii, okay, we can draw several radii in the circle. The condition, from the midpoint to circle, from the midpoint to circle, midpoint to circle. Likewise, we can draw several radius for a radii for the circle, but only one midpoint. Only one midpoint. Likewise, we can draw several diameters as well. The condition should be from the circle towards, from the circle through midpoint towards the opposite end of the circle. From the circle toward through midpoint, opposite end of the circle. Likewise, we can draw several radius and several diameters. For that one also, the count of the radii which we can draw in a circle, it would be infinite. It can be defined as infinite number of radii are in a circle, and the diameter also same case, infinite number of diameters. So in the next set of components, we are going to use the term called chord. Chord means from the circle you are going to connect another point in a circle. You have selected a point in a circle. You are going to connect another point in the circle itself. There is no any other restriction. Select a point. Okay, connect with another point in a circle. Select a point. Connect another point in a circle. Select a point and connect another point in a circle. There are several. We can draw infinite number of chords. Okay, this is called as chord of a circle. Chord. Okay, we can draw infinite number of chords in a circle. And one important thing, the largest chord in the circle. Largest chord in the circle should be from the circle through midpoint connected to the next end of the circle. This is the largest chord. That is our diameter. Previously I explained chord means, I will define chord again. Chord means when we connect 2 points in a circle, that would be a chord. 2 points in a circle, chord. Again also same thing. Can draw infinite number of chords. But the largest chord, to draw the largest chord, don't write chord like this. C-O-D-E. No, this is chord. Okay, chord. Just in Sri Lankan pronunciation, we are using chord for everything. C-O-R-D, C-O-D, everything are chord. Actually, the pronunciation would be chord. Chord. Largest chord of a circle is diameter. Is diameter. Diameter also connecting 2 points in a circle, but there is a special feature in diameter that should be going through the midpoint of the circle. That should going through midpoint of the circle. That is the special feature in the diameter. So diameter is also chord. That is the largest chord in the circle as well. Once more, to practically experimentally do this thing, what you have to do, draw a circle, draw some chords and diameter, measure the distance of chords and diameter. Amongst all those chords, you will end up with the highest answer is belongs to diameter. That means the largest chord in the circle would be our diameter. From that only we just concluded this relationship. Now we are going to discuss about the arcs. So for that we need a chord. So this is my chord. This chord will truncate. That means when you cut the circle with this chord, this will truncate this portion, this region from the larger portion of the circle. So this is our chord. We know this one already. The chord will truncate the total circle, the circle area, not the area. We are naming this one as arc, arc of the circle, arc of the circle. So the shorter arc, when you truncate the circle using a chord, that will create two arcs. So the smaller arc, this is called as minor arc. Minor arc in the circle. Minor arc in the circle. And the larger portion, so the larger arc of the circle, it is called as major arc. I'll repeat once more. What is minor arc and major arc? When we draw a chord in a circle, that chord will truncate the circle into two regions. The region belongs to smaller arc, that is called as minor arc. We are just defining this line, okay, not the area. Just defining the line, length of the line. This is called as minor arc. The length of the larger arc would be major arc. So here in the next classification, there should be a chord. We discussed that the chord will truncate the total edge arc of the circle, okay, total arc of the circle as minor arc and major arc. Likewise, now we are going to discuss about this region, okay, this region, that means the area. When the chord will truncate the total circle into two portions, it will be truncated. So you will have this portion of area, not the length. We are just considering about the area. This area, the smaller area, when the chord will truncate the total area of the circle into several portions, you will have the smaller area This is called as minor segment. Minor segment. And the area which belongs to the major arc, now we are considering the area. This area would be major segment. It would be major segment. If the area is smaller, that would be minor segment. If the area is larger, that should be major segment. The area which is bounded between chord and minor arc, that would be, the area would be minor segment. Likewise, in between, which is if the area is bounded between chord and the major arc, that is defined as major segment. Bounded means the boundaries. So the last component of a circle, that would be, I'm going to draw two radii. Okay, I'm going to do two radii in this circle. So these radii also will truncate the total circle into several portions. Okay, several portions. So the smaller portion, these are two radii. These radii will truncate the total circle into two portions. So the major portion, that is called as major sector. This region. Before that, this is our midpoint and other two lines. Those lines are denoting the radii. So the radii will truncate the total area. So this small area, it is defined as minor sector. Minor sector. And the large area, that would be our major sector. I will use a contrast color. So this yellow color. So this region would be our major sector. In a circle, a region bounded by two radii and arc is called as sector. Okay, sector means it should be bounded by two radii and an arc. It should be bounded in between two radii and arc. If that is consist of minor arc, that region is called as minor sector. If that is bounded by two radii and major arc, that portion of area is classified as major sector. So now we know this is our minor sector, this is our major sector. So here we have one more parameter, that the angle. Okay, the angle. These are radii. These two both are radii. This is our midpoint and this is our minor arc, and this region is called as minor sector. There are many, but now when we think about the context of angles, the angle which is bounded by these two radii, this is called as central angle. Central angle, because that is starting from the center of the circle. No, it is bounded in the center of the circle. That's why we are naming this one as a central angle. Central angle. So this is called as central angle. This one also a central angle. In opposite side also, in the other side also we have another angle. So this small angle, there are two angles, no? This radius will create two angles. This small angle, this is called as uh, an acute angle. Okay, the angle which is created by minor sector, this is our acute angle. This is our acute angle. Likewise, the angle which is created by major sector, that would be a reflex angle. That would be a reflex angle. I'll repeat once more. The angle which is created by, the common name for the acute angle and reflex angle, that is central angle. There are two sub-classification. The angle which is included with the minor sector is acute, major sector is reflex. That's all about the components of a circle. So what are the things we discussed? The point which we used as a reference to draw the circle is a midpoint of the center, and from the midpoint or center, when you draw a straight line to the circle, that would be our radii or radius. So next one, the diameter. From the circle through midpoint to opposite side of the circle, when you draw a straight line, that would be our diameter. And thereafter we just analyze the chord. When you connect 2 points in a circle, that would be a chord, and the chord will truncate the total area of the circle and creating minor segment and major segment, minor arc, major arc. Then finally the area which is bounded by two radii and arc, that is a sector, minor sector and major sector. And the angle it includes with, that is the common name of the angle is central angle. If the central angle belongs to minor sector, that would be an acute angle. If the central angle belongs to major sector, that would be a reflex angle.